Ah! It's not gonna work, it's fucking broken. Ah, it's a shame. Oh, holy f***. Well, that didn't go to plan. Welcome back to another episode of Unfortunate Built Not Bought. So, I had this amazing idea to do a big celebration, 100,000 subscribers, do a big four-wheeled burnout. Stupid idea. A normal burnout, traditional burnout, rear wheels. So I was gonna do an all-wheel burnout, but with 435s, it just too much load going on. The diffs are heavy, everything, and it just went bang. It was the most catastrophic failure you've ever seen in your life. So in this episode, well, that happened about an hour ago. We had the RAC truck pick us up, lovely bloke, take me home. It's the first time the patrol's been on a tow truck. Very sad about that, but it got me home. It was only a couple of $100. We weren't too far from home. But yeah, I'm in the comfort of my own workshop and I'm trying to diagnose this thing. I'm fingers crossed it's a transfer case. Funny story actually, about 6 hours ago, I just changed the rear diff because that was broken. And there's a little like disc housing that goes on the back of the transfer case. It's for the handbrake. Now that had fallen off when I took the drive shaft out when I came back from the trip with Matt. So I was missing that. Called up a wreckers to buy that section. I thought, look, I'll just buy a whole transfer case because I've got new reduction gears I want to put in anyway. And they said, look, we won't sell just a transfer case. There's a gearbox attached to it. You can have that too. I was like, all right, well, so in the trailer, there's a spare gearbox, spare transfer case, everything I need to fix this thing. So I guess everything happens for a reason. But I'm hoping it's just a transfer case. It's gonna be so much easier and I don't have to put the thing on the hoist. Getting the gearbox out would take twice as long. So it's really hard for me to diagnose this. The thing spins and revs. I've tried spinning the front wheels. The transfer case is turning, but that's from the drive shaft end. So from the engine end, nothing's spinning. So I'm gonna undo the sump plug on the gearbox, jack the front up and spin the wheels again and see if the gearbox is turning. Then I know everything's connected from the transfer case into the gearbox and the brake is probably in that input shaft from the engine to the gearbox. But if nothing's spinning in there, then I know there's a brake between the transfer case and the gearbox, which is what I'm hoping. So let's check it out. I think the oil's just finished draining. All right, I'm on the other camera here because it's a bit tight under here, so, yeah, oil's drained. Let me grab a light so I can see what's going on. Sorry, I know this is the light that makes everything go flashy. It makes everything go flickery. Okay, so I've got the front hubs locked and you can't fucking see inside the gearbox. Oh, there's a tiny hole. Okay, so the good news is, I don't think anything's spinning in there. Okay, so it's in gear. The only other way to do this is start the car up and see if it spins, but it's gonna be really loud because I've already pulled the exhaust off. All right, I'm gonna start it and then put it in gear. Oh yeah? Oh my God! That's in gear. It's spinning, oh my God. So that means the input shaft is fine, the output shaft snapped. All right, I think I can actually get this sorted. Because I'm meant to be going to Coffs Harbour on Monday. What am I doing? All right.
So the race was on. I pretty much had tonight only to get this gearbox out. If I couldn't pull it out tonight, then there was no chance of getting it in tomorrow in time for my trip next.
Okay, I don't know if you can hear this, but when I spin the transfer case, there's a little rattle. Which may be a stripped spline, so... the danger now is that that stripped spline might be on the inner spline, which is the output shaft of the gearbox, but ideally it's the outer cone, which is the actual transfer case spline, because otherwise the gearbox has got to come out, which is not what I want to do. All right, pull this transfer case out. Okay, I pretty much got all the bolts off the transfer case, and well, there's only me here, so help's far away.
Okay. Shit. So it's the gearbox shaft. Snapped. Whoa! Look at that. The end of it's still in there. Snap the output shaft. Okay, there's me for the next fucking 10 hours. No, it won't take that long. What do I do? Auto to manual conversion in 16 hours. I can do a manual to manual conversion in 5 hours.
Okay, all right, so I pull the transfer case out and kind of what I expected, but it's the output shaft that snapped, but it's snapped inside the transfer case, which sucks, which means I need to change the gearbox because that output shaft is obviously what connects all the gears in the gearbox together. So this is kind of still good if I can get that shaft out. It just means that I'm at the start of my journey instead of the end. What's the time? It's 8:30 at night. So we'll see how far we get because I got to go to Coffs Harbour in 2 days and I don't want to pull the pin just yet because I have a gearbox and I have tools and a hoist and sugar. So nothing can hold me back really. Right, I've had a short recess. By recess, I mean some KFC for dinner. And what I did underneath, I pretty much got all the exhaust out the way, all the wiring's off, and starter motor's out. And now what I have to do is loosen the headers, which is a pain in the butt, but the design of the bell housing, the headers kind of just hugging a little bit too tight. And from past experience, it's easier to just loosen the headers off and slide the gearbox back because of that front spline there, that input shaft. So loosen these off and then I can start undoing all the bell housing bolts, lower the cross member and try and wrench this thing off. Alrighty, we're getting closer. The time is now 10:50, almost 11 o'clock. I just had a brainwave. Well, it wasn't really a brainwave, it was almost had a brain fart because I dropped the cross member out, undone all the bolts on the bell housing and realized, well, the thing's just gonna fall out of the car. So I'm gonna use the engine crane and a strap just to wrap around the gearbox because it's not on the hoist. I'm so used to doing it with a transmission jack that I didn't even think that, yeah, you should strap it from the top. So running the arm through the car, put some straps around it so that I can sort of lower it down and like if it does fall off the jack, at least something's gonna catch it. And yeah, then we pretty much just pry the thing open, try and get that shaft back enough. It should just pop straight out. Should be pretty simple actually because the transfer case is off, so there's heaps of room for it to go back. Here comes the peak of the operation. Yeah, the dangerous part. So got the jack on the front end, the engine crane on the back end holding the rear up, and we should be able to just pull the thing back. It's like just past 11 o'clock, so perfect. I'm bright and early, bush-eyed and awake and whatever you call it, and I'm doing like the most dangerous bit. So I'm being sick of watching bloody manual gearbox conversions on this channel. I'm this close to going auto again. If there's any good auto builders out there, or comment below a good box to put in this thing. I think the RE4s, maybe a manualized RE4, if someone can make one of them, or even a turbo box maybe, turbo 450, I don't know, turbo 400, turbo 350, 700, whatever. I think the way I drive it, it needs to be auto, even though I love the manual, but anyway, we've got to get this thing sorted for Coffs Harbour. I just touched it and she split.
Look at that, she split straight open. Holy
There it is. I've got to say, that's probably the easiest the gearbox has come out of here on the floor. What's the time? Almost midnight probably? Almost 11:30, so I'm gonna call that a night. Got to go pull this other gearbox out the trailer and bring it in here and sort of get it ready to put in, but Oh, actually, I might take this bell housing off because obviously the Marks Adapters kit, this bell housing's got to go on that new box so it all joins up. And then I'm gonna go to sleep. So stay tuned for part 2. Well, not part 2, it's gonna happen right now. Camera tricks. Subscribe and shit. Ugh. All right, good morning guys. It is the next day. We finished about midnight last night, so starting fresh today. And it's all happening. Got a lift kit going in a 79 over there. We've got an engine rocking up for a project over there. And this is the new gearbox. So I may have a bit of help today. James has ducked past. And we're gonna put this bell housing on, because obviously that's the Marks bell housing, which needs to go on for the conversion. So we've just taken the old bell housing off, bit of glue on there, bolted on, and then it's pretty much is ready to go straight in, because all the clutch is still attached to the engine obviously. So once I get it sitting in there and mounted up, that's the hardest thing. I reckon I can use some muscles on the boys here, get it in there, and then it's just pretty much putting everything back together. Sounds easier, doesn't it? So we'll see what happens. Time check. What is the time? It's almost 12, so it's been 12 hours. I'm gonna put the camera down and we'll get back to you when it's in. This is gonna be a bitch.
1 week later.
All right, the hard bit's over, it's in now. So the boys had to tilt the engine a bit. We had the crane, we had a jack, we had all sorts of stuff, but it's really lining up that spline, and then it just went thump and straight in. So pretty stoked the hard bit's over now. It's just doing everything up. The cross member's gonna be a bit of a bitch to get in, but hopefully we can wiggle it around and get that in. And I just realized I got a massive leak on my swivel hub. Perfect. There's always something. All right, so it's 2:20 and well, gearbox is in. James has been f***ing around with this bloody handbrake because the transfer case that I got was missing a spring and missing the cable and all this crap. Cruiser, Marcus is doing the back now, so that's happening in the background while we're trying to do this at the same time. I didn't feel much of what was going on because I was dicking around with the transmission cross member. Trying to get all the bell housing bolts done up. So what we're going to do now, bleed the clutch, because that's where the exhaust goes, the clutch nipple is there. So I'm going to do that first, then put the exhaust in, do all the gaskets, seal that up, and pretty much run through everything, make sure it's all tight, and then we can pretty much start looking at putting the drive shafts in and putting the engine bay back together. Airbox, intake pipes and all that. I just pulled off to get easy access to things. And that should be all. Just another day in the life of an unexpected Sam bull before a trip. One day away from going away is always the way with me. So if you ever want me to go on a trip, just don't even ask, because something will go wrong, whether it be with my car or every other time I've gone away, I've had cars roll, fall off cliffs, all sorts of shit. I'm like the demon. Side note, I f***ed up a bit, and the strap that I put around the cross member I had to cut because it was on the engine side of the cross member and it was fully looped around, so I would have had to take the, well, basically take the gearbox out to pull it out. So, oh well. How's the handbrake going?
Slow.
God damn handbrake.
Better than Matt's.
We got a squirter.
Got a squirter? How's it going down there?
Good, mate, good.
She's all full?
She's in, she's full, we're happy.
She's in, she's full.
And let's just hope it works.
Alright, just gotta do up all those exhaust bolts and that's it for under there. And then we'll see what we've got to do up and what falls out. Perfect. Alright, so just for the last few bolts in the exhaust here, and then obviously all the air intake stuff, which will take 2 seconds. James is under there doing the transmission fluid, so there was only like a couple of 100 mil in there, so the guys had taken the oil out from the wreckers, so it's always good to check that before you put something in. You don't know how long it's been in there as well, so put some fresh stuff in there. Put the drive shafts on, double check everything's done up, and we should be away and out of here. Anyone out there who can build a sick RE4, send me a message. Because that's the only way this thing's gonna not smash gearboxes, I'm pretty sure. Oh yes! I think we're gonna be in business. And I just reefed that handbrake on and totally forgot. Because the handbrake may or may not work, because that's the only thing James touched. All right guys, well I'm gonna finish this thing off. I hope you enjoyed another bloody stupid bush mechanic build from Sam Oz, me just f***ing my car again. What do you know? If you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel, check out our merchandise on our website, and I'll see you guys in the next episode where this thing will be running. And very soon, keep an eye on the Explore 4x4 YouTube channel, or the Explore Life, for the trip to Coffs Harbour, which if you watch that, you'll know that 2 days earlier, I was doing this right now. Peace. Hello guys, and welcome to Built Not Bought HQ. Make sure to click on the far left to subscribe to the channel. Click down below to see the latest episode if you missed it. And don't forget our merchandise on our website. See you in the next episode.